What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the charts are showing and based off what is going on for NIO. I'm also going to talk about what the news is saying about NIO, as we have a new lawsuit that just came out that's actually very important, and also what's going on with their Twitter page, as we have another very bullish catalyst coming out for the long-term future. Now, before I break anything down for NIO, before I talk about why I'm still incredibly bullish for the long-term future and what my price prediction is for the short term, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, but the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and you deposit any amount of money, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed 6 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell these 6 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free in this limited time offer that ends in just 2 weeks. So please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So NIO is down about 4.62% for the day, closing at $19.18 a share, very close to where I predicted. I did predict this with the yellow line, and then obviously they're not always going to be correct, but that was just one of them where I was able to use historical data to kind of show this bull trap like situation that NIO was essentially respecting. Was it a strong bull trap? The answer is no, but it kind of did resemble it. I mean, if you actually look at what a historical bull trap should look like, we get this nice push up for one of the days. You know, bulls kind of get trapped as bears end up pushing the share price down, showing that they have control. Very similar to what happened right over here. If I actually zoom in like this, you could see, look at how NIO moved. It pushed up all the way up, and then after that, big drop. But that's not just all there was to it. We actually have this nice gap right here, and there are other important details I got to really discuss when it comes to this. So looking at the fear and greed index, right now, the market's driven on extreme fear, and when we start to free fall, it's very hard to predict where the bottom is going to be, and I do anticipate more downward pressure for the future. Now, historically, after the FOMC meetings, right, new changes really came to the markets that could definitely affect the outlook, because Jerome Powell didn't necessarily keep his words. I mean, he did state that a 75 basis point rate hike was not on the table back in May, and that is what ended up happening instead. He also, I mean, his plans weren't necessarily very meticulous or even the best, so to speak, as he did talk about how he wants to look at data before making any of these changes. But like I said before, to me, in my personal opinion, I think that if you are in the Fed, your main goal should be to help avoid high inflation, avoid issues, and not wait for inflation to actually hit those really high levels and then take action after. That's not necessarily how I think it should be done, but hey, it's just my opinion. And with that said, there's my main reasoning behind bringing that up is because there's not as much faith in Jerome Powell. He lost some credibility after he ended up changing his rate hike relative to previous expectations or anticipations. So as a result, I mean, I'm pretty bearish for the overall market over the next couple of weeks, but it doesn't mean we have to be red every single day. Now, there are two main ways you could kind of interpret this, which is why it's going to be very hard to make that prediction. And I want to go over both the bullish and bearish possibilities first before I give you my prediction. So you could argue that there are two main possibilities, right? And I think that there's both a very bullish and bearish possibility. So if NIO were to start dropping, hypothetically, and why would you say it may start dropping? So I know I'm going over hypotheticals, but I am going to give you my prediction, so just give me a second. But anyways, look at this, okay? This resembles what looks like head and shoulders. You can see how you have the shoulder here, the neckline, the head, and then the other shoulder followed by more downside after that. And this is like the uptrend that started it. Well, very similar. We have this upward trend, right? We have that neckline. See how the neckline would be like, just like that. NIO doesn't have that same neckline, but what it does have is that you could argue it has a shoulder here, a head, another shoulder, and the neckline would be like down here. But you understand my point, right? It looks kind of bearish from that standpoint, from the pattern, and it does look like it could have a bit of a drop. Now, here's the thing. That's just the bearish possibility. There's also the bullish possibility. I'm going to show you which one seems more likely. And I actually think NIO held up a lot better than a lot of other stocks out there. And I think it actually might push up instead of actually following the head and shoulders. And I'm going to show you why. So if you look at the SPY, okay, SPY is super oversold. It looks like it's primed for a bit of a bounce soon. I'm not sure if it's going to be Friday. Perhaps it'll be Friday. Hopefully it is Friday, maybe Tuesday, since I'm saying Tuesday because the market's closed on Monday due to Juneteenth. But the SPY does look like it is primed for a bit of a bounce relatively soon within the next couple of trading days, because if you bring up the daily candles, you can see how oversold the SPY is. And it does look like it might see a slight bounce back to that like 390 range before getting a more downside. Just my interpretation of it, right? And for NIO, what I'm essentially seeing is if we do get that bounce, let me fix this, sorry about that. But if we get that bounce, NIO is going to push up with the SPY as well. So here's how I'm seeing this, okay? Why on earth is there a bearish possibility and why is there a bullish possibility, and which one is more likely? Well, if this thing starts dropping, you got to look out for that, let me see, $19 level, that 18.5-ish level. I think it's like down here. And you also need to be looking out for that 17.8 and then 17.4 and $17 level. Those are very key zones for NIO if this thing were to start retracing. So let's just say hypothetically NIO does start dropping. Let's just pretend something happens in the markets, right? The market continues down. Where would NIO retrace to? And I do think this is actually less likely, and I'm going to show you why, but I just want to just prepare you for this. So if you're watching NIO tomorrow, watch for 19. We may actually break below that. And if that's the case, we want to hold 18.5. If we don't hold 18.5, we're going to probably drop down to that 18 range pretty hard. So we really want to see us hold that 18.5. And we should actually hold past that, maybe close very close to 18 flat or the low 18s. So that's just one possibility, right? That's the more bearish possibility. You could argue that since there is a head and shoulders don't always have to be formed. Now, what's the more bullish possibility? And I want to talk about why I think that this is more likely to happen soon. And that would be we actually start to pump up a little bit and we have this gap all the way up to that $20 range. So what could happen is NIO might kind of trade like this and the market might push up a little bit. NIO, what I think could end up doing is fill this gap way up here to like 20 and then drop after that, just like this. And we might actually be able to close just a little bit in the green. I wouldn't be surprised if we close around that 19.5 range or a little bit higher than that. And that would be a more bullish possibility. Okay. And yeah, we know it could go down, it could go up, which is more likely. Considering how oversold the SPY and the NASDAQ are, I do think we're actually set for a bit of a bounce, especially as NIO's green in the after hours. So I wouldn't be surprised. And you could see this upward trend that formed 18.47, then we actually held a higher low towards the very end. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see the blue line play out and NIO close slightly in the green tomorrow. And that's essentially what I'm predicting for this one. Still very, very bullish. I know that there is some news that may actually kind of change that because, like I said, I can't predict the future perfectly, but this is just what I think is going to happen, the blue line. But I want to talk about this right here. This could actually affect us. I don't think it's going to be too bad, though. You can see right here, Audi is suing NIO for alleging that the ES6 and ES8 names infringe under S6 and S8. So you could argue that, sure, but different people have different interpretations, and there are lots of different electric vehicles out there that have the S in their name, like the Tesla Model S. So could they really say that it's all just copyright? They're infringing on trademarks? I don't know. I mean, I can't really promise that, but at the same time, you never know what's going down. So if that's the case, I mean, I know NIO will get through this. It's not anything too major, and they could actually end up having to rename these cars if that's the case. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I do find it very strange how Audi hasn't said anything for so many years, and they're finally starting to do this over the ES6 and ES8. So just wanted to put that out there. But anyways, we'll see how this really goes. I don't think this should negatively affect the share price tomorrow. I mean, I still doubt it considering we're still green. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the overall market will dictate to NIO a little bit more. Now, anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is this right here. The NIO Global ES7 is redefining SUVs with intelligent features and driving modes powered by NVIDIA Drive Oregon. So that's once again very, very bullish news. Long-term future, I can't wait to see what the ES7 does. I think it's going to be very popular in Europe and different parts of China. So it's very, very good news going forward. With that said and done, thank you for listening. Stay strong and get ready for tomorrow. Because look, either of these are possible, but I do think the blue line is more likely. So just be on the lookout for those key resistance zones. And with that out of the way, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening. NIO to the moon, and peace out.